When thinking about the game of basketball, you normally think of a famous player of the sport. Or if you don't know any famous players, you normally think of just the general objective of the game. But what people fail to realize is the background behind this worldwide activity and how this became about. For starters, the person that invented the game is James Naismith. Um, he has the whole mastermind behind this process. A little bit more about James is that he was a Canadian American sports coach who invented the game back in 1891. Um, he was actually the second child of a Scottish immigrant family, and he soon became an American citizen in 1925. After becoming a citizen, he wanted to reach out about his freedoms, and he then married a woman by the name of Maid Evelyn Sherman. Um, they ended up getting married back in 1894 in Massachusetts, and the couple together had 5 children. Um, Unfortunately, he died in Kansas on November 28th at the age of 78. Um, the rules of basketball are pretty simple. You know, team with the most points at the end of the game wins. The rules behind the game are also pretty simple. You know, you have a certain amount of players on each team. Only a selected number is allowed on the court at a time, and each team plays against each other for a total of 4 quarters, um, with a 15-minute halftime. Uh, if the score between two teams are tied, then there's an extra quarter to dish out who loses and who wins. Throughout the many years of basketball, um, there has been many milestones and barriers that have been broken. Some of these milestones include the first team to win an NBA championship, um, the first team to win over 5 championships, and even to further extend these milestones, we could say that there was the first person to be indicted to the NBA Hall of Fame. Um, the most interesting milestone that I believe I researched was the importance of Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, and Nat Sweetwater Clifton. That's his name, Clifton. Um, these were the first African American players to be drafted into the NBA, and around the start in the early 1900s, um, segregation was still a thing, so it was really difficult, very actually extremely difficult to get into the NBA as an African American man, and really it was to be honest a time where colored people couldn't get as much privileges in America as we intended. So for the first Americans to be actually, or African Americans to be drafted into the NBA was a huge milestone for everybody. Um, a little bit more is that by October 1950, Lloyd, a member of the, at the time, Washington Capitals, became the first African American to play in the NBA game when he entered a game against the Rochester Royals. Again, this is a very huge thing because at the time, colors wasn't allowed to be in the NBA. At the end of the day, the game of basketball is always evolving, and people are always in the process of changing up the game. Um, the worldwide game that is loved by so many is a way people can unite and come together as one. This is a genuine fun game. There's never no bad intentions that should come out of it. I really hope that this information was useful, and I hope that some of it was actually quite knowledgeable for others. I also hope to inspire more people to at least try the game and see if they have some type of skill. You never know until you try. At least if you're not interested.